Do you know what matters most in life? Do you know what life is really about? Another video on how to live. Knowledge and skills you need to create the best life possible. So let's go back to the original question. Do you ever wonder what matters in life? What really matters in life? What life is really about? Do you ever get lost in some sort of a wondering, have I really got it? Have I really got this right? Do I really understand it? What life is? What life is about? Am I going in the right direction? Do you ever have this feeling inside you that maybe somehow you got it wrong? Maybe somehow the mainstream society that you live in actually got it wrong and we are sort of going in a wrong direction, and that sort of probably manifests everywhere around us. What is life really? And what is the knowledge of life that you need to have to sort of conduct yourself in a way that you can create the life you want, the best experience of life possible? As I've already established in one of my videos, what really matters in life is the best possible experience of life as a bliss, as a satisfaction, as something fulfilling. And if we do understand life, if we know what life is really about, if we have the knowledge of life and some sort of a basic or essential skills to handle this experience that is life, then we are probably on a much better track. Then we are probably much more capable of having a positive experience of life. Wouldn't you think so? I mean, do you ever wonder? Do you ever think to yourself, look, I'm doing everything I'm supposed to do. I've done most of the right things and it just doesn't feel right. It doesn't really feel right. It doesn't feel good. There should be, is there anything more to life than this bag of bones and flesh and a brain and is there more to it, or is it just something that starts and ends and a little time in between where we're sort of rushing to achieve and do things that we're supposed to do? Is that all there is to it? If that is all there is to it, it's not really worth much, is it? It's not really worth getting out of bed in the morning, is it? I mean, let's put all aside all the moralizing and all the sort of cliches and all that. If that's all life is, being born, dying, spending a bit of time in between when you sort of rush and try to achieve and do all the right things, and for what? I mean, what's the point of it really? But you know, as you know why you know? You know because you have it inside you, because you have this feeling. Sometimes when you're lost in your mind, when you're not really thinking about anything, when you're not connected with your thoughts, when you're just sort of drifting somewhere like in a trance, you experience life, and you know, it is just knowing because of that experience that life is there, and that the life is much more than a bag of bones and skin and a brain. That life is much more than what we are taught at school, and there is much more to life than achieving and striving to achieve and showing something for yourself and sort of doing supposedly right things. There is a totally different dimension to life that is a real life, that doesn't start, it doesn't end, that it just is all the time. It doesn't have a start or the end. There is no beginning, there is no ending. There is no time as we know it as human beings, as we sort of measure it as human being. There is no perception of things as we have it as a human being that is sort of limited to our system, to our brain. We can just perceive what our brain allows us to perceive. And if it's not a human being, if it's some other living being, they perceive what is differently. totally differently, because it's just a question of having a different brain. So life is beyond all that. Life is beyond the bag of skin and bones. Life is beyond your brain, beyond your thoughts, beyond what you can concoct with your mind. And you know it. There is an inside an inner knowledge of life that you're born with, and that will stay with you even when you die. I mean, when your body dies, when your body stops existing, when everything is just transforming. What is, the energy that is, stays. It's not going anywhere. It's just transforming on a certain level. It's being shown in different forms and shapes, but it doesn't go anywhere. It just is. It just is. All we need to do is understand how to access it, how to connect with it on a daily basis, how to live with this consciousness of life, of energy, of what is, how to enjoy it, how to fulfill it, how to live in harmony with it, and stop doing all the nonsense things that absolutely do not matter at all. It is all achievable. It is all accessible. There are processes that can get you there. Even when you, as you said before, even when you are in a simple trance, when you're just lost in something, we say we're lost in thought, but if somebody asks us what we're thinking about, we don't really know. We're not thinking about anything. This trance that we call it, we experience life at that particular moment. We experience life as is, and we know that life is much more than what we are told to. We're just not educated about life, sadly, but we need to. We need to start educating ourselves about life, gathering knowledge of life and basic essential life skills. So stay with me on my channel, How to Live, where I discuss all that, where I show you certain practices, how to do it, where I point you in the direction of people who can practice it with you, who can show you how to practice it, who can guide you step by step. It's all possible. You just need to wake up to it. You just need to wake up to life and really understand what matters most in life and what life is really about. And start doing it. Start living. Stop living in your head. Start living. Ja. Talk to you soon. There are some programs underneath that you can use that makes me a few bucks, and many names and programs that I name that on YouTube, that have YouTube channels that are very, very insightful about life. Da. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.